taking all our money. Try to find a subsidy that isn't taken already. Days of playing fair are incredibly rare. It's a terrible state of affairs. Everybody say yeah, our friends is in the air. Oh yeah, our friends is in the air. Hell yeah, our friends is in the air. Everybody say yeah, our friends is in the air. We're gonna change the world. This is how we do it. We're gonna change the world. Really nothing to it. We're gonna change the world. Put your heads together. We're gonna change the world. We can do whatever.
This is the most venomous snake on Earth. It's a taipan, the inland taipan of outback Australia. One bite contains enough venom to kill 125,000 mice. One bite, 125,000 mice. A single rat doesn't stand a chance. Paradoxically, despite its potent venom, the inland taipan has never claimed a human victim, primarily because where it lives, there just aren't many people. Not so for its coastal cousin. Over the years, the coastal taipan has claimed many lives in and around the cane fields and grasslands of northern Australia. Drop for drop, it has the third most toxic venom of any land-dwelling snake anywhere. Compared to the taipan, and to many other Australian snakes, big names like the Indian cobra and the American rattlesnake are strictly in the little league.
In my view, the most dangerous snake in Australia, in a potential sense, is probably the coastal taipan. This is a snake that grows very large to around 3 metres, and it has the third most toxic terrestrial snake venom known for any snake anywhere. Taipans are easily provoked. I think that's a truism. They are very accurate too when they strike. When they respond to their perception of provocation, they can strike very, very accurately. Both species of taipans will strike rapidly with a snap release sort of bite, and then just simply wait for the animal, the prey animal, to die, and then the snake simply creeps up and eats the prey animal. The coastal taipan is probably the most dangerous snake in a potential sense in Australia. It grows to a very great size, around 9 feet. This one is about 7 feet in length from our spirit collection. The fangs of a taipan, you can see them here, they're encased in a sheath in the upper part of the anterior part of the mouth. They're hollowed in the same way as a syringe is, and they're connected by a little tiny duct that runs in the side of the face here, under the eye, and into a venom gland that is very large in a big taipan like this, about that big. Now when the snake bites, the venom is transmitted from the gland via the duct through the syringe into the victim.
The snake gives a lot of venom in a strike, and those two factors combine together, and the fact that the snake won't back off if it's provoked, and sometimes in fact will proactively strike, makes it a very dangerous snake indeed. Its venom causes paralysis and it causes tissue damage, so that the muscles of the body are broken down as the venom circulates. The pigment in the muscles, myoglobin, circulates in the body. It's very toxic in its own right. Once the cells are broken down, it makes its own problems in the body. It can block up the kidneys, which are furiously trying to filter that pigment out of the body, and the kidneys then break down as well. The first neurotoxic sign is often double vision. One sees double because the little fine muscles in the eye are the first muscles to be affected. This means that the two eyes, which are normally always completely synchronized together, if one set of muscles is just asymmetrically paralysed, then the two eyes will not be totally focused in parallel vision. So double vision after somebody's been bitten by a snake is a potentially lethal sign. Without antivenom or without life support, such an individual will almost always die.
This is an inland taipan, classed as the most toxic snake in the world. They're not classed as the most deadly. No one's ever died from one of these snakes. But just out of safety practices, they're still milked. We milk them to get the venom out of them. This venom is then used to produce the antivenin required. We'll just give this little fellow a bit of a milking and see how much we can get out of him. Come on, come on, come on. Here we go. And that's all there is, just a tiny drop. It's not a great deal in there, but that there's enough to kill quite a few people. What we're going to do here is we're going to put some of this venom that we just milked before into one of the phials of blood, just to show how the venom affects the blood. This is from a taipan's venom. The venom from a taipan, it congeals your blood, sends it near rock solids. So that's 2 drops there. Five minutes have elapsed now, and we'll now have a bit of a look. You can have a look at how the venom's affected the blood. This is the blood that we didn't put any venom in. As you can see, it's still quite liquid, starting to congeal a little bit, as all blood would do, but it's still quite liquid and lucid. But when we have a look at the one that we put the venom into, it barely even moves. It's pretty much a rock. That is one of the secondary side effects, one of the other reasons people have problems when they are bitten by the taipans. Your blood goes that thick, your kidneys are trying as best they can to try and filter this out, and your body just goes into renal shutdown. Your kidneys just cannot filter your blood as it's thickening like this.
So somebody who hasn't had proper first aid and who's not treated with antivenin relatively quickly following a taipan bite almost always needs kidney dialysis as well as life support over the ensuing days or many weeks during convalescence.
200 years ago, nobody in colonial Australia had ever heard of the taipan. It would be many years before explorers ventured north, many years before the coastal taipan claimed its first white victim. This is the snake that early settlers first encountered, and it killed a lot of people.
The tiger snake has the 4th most toxic terrestrial snake venom known on a world scale. So its venom is extremely potent.
Unlike its name, it's not a fierce snake, but it lives in burrows, and people who are out in the bush and people who are catching birds sometimes put their hands down burrows where tiger snakes love to live. That snake is a neurotoxic snake. It causes paralysis and is one of the causes of death. If the snake strikes into a vein directly, as opposed to just into the tissues of muscles or soft tissues of the body, sometimes a rapid bolus of venom taken straight to the heart will cause death within a few minutes after such a bite.